Hey everyone, so in this video I'll show you exactly how you can create your own Slack manager who will delegate to the task manager, to accountant manager, or to a personal assistant manager, and then who will then delegate to other AI agents depending on what you asked. So here's a very quick overview of what I'll be showing you, and I'll do a demo in a couple of seconds. But just so that you know, in this video I'll show you a step-by-step demo of how you can build this whole system with Relevance AI, with Airtable, Slack, and Make.com. So yeah, we'll be using multiple tools, and I'll show you exactly step by step how you can create it. Can you please add a new task for Sarah to do the automations for Drive Now? Thank you. Alex knows to delegate that to the task manager, who is called Victoria. And what Victoria will do is she will use a tool which will basically structure this text in a way that Clara can easily understand it, and will be able to then add it into Airtable. And we will receive a message here, as you can see, Airtable. And then if we go into the Airtable, we can see here, Sarah, Drive Now, do automations, added via Slack, to do with today as the date and tomorrow as the due date. View tasks for of Sarah. And then also add a new task for Thomas to ask Zapier login of Trello, to Xello, which is the client. And so delegated to Victoria, who is a task manager, and then Victoria delegated to Bruno, because Bruno is the one who has an overview of all of the tasks in Airtable. For Slack, it will come back with an update, and then we'll see. So overview of tasks assigned to Sarah. So we can see that Sarah needs to do the automations. And then also what has recently been completed are the onboarding calls. And then additionally, a new task has been created for Thomas to request the Zapier login details for Xello. So let's actually go into Airtable, and here we'll see, so we got added, request the Zapier login details. Now just send the invoice, right, as a PDF file. And what this will do is Max, who verifies the invoices, and Max, what he does is he uses a tool to actually extract the details. Should I pay here, as you can see, and if we click on it, you see it just generated a new invoice. On the old invoice, it didn't have my company details on it. All the templates, all the prompting guides, everything is in my community. You just have to go in the description, click the link, and then you can join it. It's for free. So yeah, everything is there. Then I'll just show you exactly how this works. So basically, we'll have a private channel on Slack. So here, this is what I have, Max Personal Assistant. And here we'll be able to or send a message or send a voice message. So when we do that, basically it'll go to Alex, the Slack manager, who is on Relevance AI. And Alex has certain tools, which will then allow him to know when to delegate to Victoria, who is the task manager, or to Alfredo when he's the accountant manager, or to Lisa, who is the personal assistant manager. And then each of these AI agents, they are able to delegate to another AI agent. So for example, Clara, which is to add new tasks into their to-do list, or Bruno, who gives an overview of all of the tasks that each person in the team needs to do. Then if we go to Alfredo, who is the accountant manager, he'll be able to delegate to Max, who verifies if the invoices have been correctly done. So for example, is there the address on the invoice? Is the invoice complete and ready to be sent to the actual human accountant to then file your taxes? And if that's not the case, then we have Emma, who creates a new invoice based on templates that we give it. We also have Justin, who is an accountant assistant. So his role is to really will provide an overview of everything that needs to be paid, what has already been paid, and what kind of payments will be coming up in the next months. And then here we have the personal assistant manager, who delegates to Andrew, who gives an overview of all the processes from the company. So this is very good for, let's say, if you have a new employee that joins your company and that has many questions, who might be afraid to ask it, or who you don't want him to annoy you with all of the questions that you consistently have to answer to. So yeah, he can just talk to the Slack manager to get all of these details. And then we also have client info overview. So this gives kind of like for example, the calendar logins, if you create that for your clients, or let's say some just general information of what kind of clients you have. And yeah, So I'll show you exactly how you can build this. It's going to be a long video, but it'll be very necessary. Again, like I said, we'll be able to send text, but also voice messages. Okay, great. So I'm guessing that you're impatient to see this, how it works in real time. So I'll show you right now. So let's say I'm the founder and I want to add a new task for one of my team members. So I'll just send a voice message. I have back-to-back calls, so I don't have enough time to write. Hey, can you please add a new task for Sarah to do the automations for Drive Now? Thank you. And then once that's done, we'll send that message. And then what will happen is we'll go to Zapier, and here it will get categorized as a voice message. And then it will go and trigger on make.com the voice part, which basically we have to download the file on Slack with the voice, and then we have to transcribe it, get a transcript, and then we send that transcript to Relevance AI, which is here. And you can see exactly what I said. Hey, can you please add a new task for Sarah to do the automations for Drive Now? Thank you. And then, well, Alex knows to delegate that to the task manager, who is called Victoria. And what Victoria will do is she will use a tool which will basically structure this text in a way that Clara can easily understand it, and will be able to then add it into Airtable. So I'll show you exactly how that works. But here, as you can see, it uses the Airtable add task tool, and then it will report back to Alex that it has been done, and we will receive a message here, as you can see, task update, a new task has been added for Sarah to do the automations for Drive Now, and then you have kind of an overview, and then if we go to the Airtable, we can see here, Sarah, Drive Now, do automations, added via Slack, to do with today as the date and tomorrow as the due date, because I didn't put a due date, but if I did put a due date for like next week or something, then it would have done it. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little bit more complicated. So we'll ask two tasks. So for example, please give me the overview tasks for of Sarah, and then also add a new task for Thomas to ask Zapier login to Xello, which is the client. And so once we send this, same thing, what will happen is we go to Slack, it will get categorized as the writing message, and then what it will do, we'll go to make.com. This will send it to ChatGPT. This is just to verify who is sending it in Slack, and then who we should address to whenever we add new tasks. And then it sends it to Relevance AI, which we'll see here. So this is exactly what we wrote. And what we can see is that, if we go here, so here what we can see is that Alex was delegated to Victoria, who is a task manager, and then Victoria delegated to Bruno, because Bruno is the one who has an overview of all of the tasks in Airtable for the client and for the individual. And then it will use the Airtable owner list tasks tool, which essentially just gets all the data from Airtable and searches of the owner of each task. And then what it will do also next is it will delegate to Clara to add a new task to Thomas to add the task that we provided it, which we asked it to do. And then if we go here into Slack, it will come back with an update. And then we'll see, so overview of tasks assigned to Sarah. So we can see that, Sarah needs to do the automations. And then also what has recently been completed are the onboarding calls. And then additionally, a new task has been created for Thomas to request the Zapier login details for Xello. So let's actually go into Airtable, and here we'll see, so we got added, request the Zapier login details, and then it also puts Monday as the due date. And what it can also do is it can basically categorize your invoices, redo your invoices if it needs to be redone. And this just allows you to save a lot of time and headache instead of going and hiring someone to do this for you. Let me show you exactly how that works. So what I'll do now is I'll upload an invoice. This is a Canva invoice, and I'll just send the invoice, right, as a PDF file. And what this will do is, if we go back to the Zapier, it will categorize it as an invoice. And then on make.com, basically here, Slack will download the file, and then we'll send it to Amazon AWS system. This is just to have like a link that we then send to Relevance AI. And so then if we go here, we see this is the link that got generated from the AWS, and then it gets delegated to Alfredo, and Alfredo knows exactly that this has to be sent to well, the next person, which is Max, who verifies the invoices. And Max, what he does is he uses a tool to actually extract the details. So let me just get this up. So here Max used the extract information from invoices tool, and then this will provide back the details to Max, who will then say if the invoice is actually complete or incomplete. And if it's incomplete, then it will generate a new invoice. So I'll show you how that looks like when it's generated. So yeah, it's supposed to come into this folder. So basically the invoice will get categorized as internal or external. Internal means if it's from someone from the team who you need to pay, and external is like a software or an external cost. So the new invoice should appear here, as you can see, and if we click on it, you see it just generated a new invoice. On the old invoice, it didn't have my company details on it, and here it creates a new one to have my company details on it, so then it can be used for tax reasons, and you have everything on it, right? You have the invoice ID, the date, the due date, the description, etc., the price without tax, with tax, and then that could also be added directly into Airtable, into the invoice section here, and then it can also get added into the correct month. So these are all the things that you can do with just one basic like Slack manager who is connected to many other Slack managers. And then it gives you here an overview of everything, of what has been done. And honestly, this is the future of how businesses are going to operate. And yeah, if you're interested to know how to build this, continue watching the video. And like I said, all of the templates, all of the resources are available in my community. Just click on the link below in the description, and then you'll have access to everything you need. What I recommend you to do is to go grab some water, go grab some snacks, because now we're actually going to go and do the step-by-step process of building each AI agent, each tool. And yeah, it's not going to be that easy, but no worries. I'm going to be here to guide you and to show you exactly step-by-step how you can create it. Okay, so I know what you're thinking is like, okay, well, how do we actually start this whole thing? What I see is a lot of people, you know, they give out these templates on YouTube, and then people actually don't know how to use them. And the reason why is because they don't know how to use the different tools. So what I would always recommend you to do is to, whenever you see a template that you want to use, is maybe to download it and then look into the details of what it has, and then try to understand that way how you send data from one point to another point, how to use, what kind of tool did they use, etc. And then what I'll do is I'll try to recreate something else that I would want to create based on what I saw in the template. And I'll always start by using a Figma view. So basically here I'm on Figma board. You can make like these nice boards where you can easily basically plan out everything you need to create. So in this case, what I would do is I would actually first map all of the different AI agents that you want to create. So I'll start by just placing them. You won't have the tools yet. And then from there, I would basically start building from the sub AI agent, not the main one. And then once you have built the sub AI agent, then you can create the manager of that agent, and then you can create the manager of that agent. And that's how you should work. You shouldn't start from top to bottom, you should start from bottom to top. And then after that, you can add the different tools that you will need. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to start. I'm going to create now a fresh Relevance AI account, a fresh make.com account, and a fresh Zapier account, and Airtable account, just to show you exactly how you can also create this, and we'll do it step by step, like I promised. What we're going to first do is we're going to create a new Figma board, and we're just going to go and create the different AI agents, the visual. The reason why I'm showing you this is just so then you can see exactly how I would, like my reasoning behind mapping everything and how I do it. So I do have the screen in front of me which shows what I made, but yeah, just to help me out remember what I did. But yeah, the first one is, well, we're going to create Alex, the Slack manager. And so what Alex does is Alex will delegate to 3 different types of people, which is Victoria, the task manager, Alfredo, the accountant manager, and then you have Lisa, the personal assistant manager. So we're going to write Victoria's task manager. Then here we're going to add Alfredo, accountant manager, and then we'll have Lisa, the personal assistant manager. So now the reasoning why I created these 3 types of AI agents and why I created this whole thing is because I was actually working with a client, and the client told me, so I created the whole Airtable base for them, what I showed at the beginning of the video. And well, their team members were saying that it was complex to add new tasks into the Airtable, like it was taking, more steps than what it should do. So instead of them needing to go to Airtable, add the task themselves, basically they can just directly add it from a Slack channel, which is even better, and is much quicker. So that's why I created Victoria, the task manager. So let's say they start the day, they just finished a call, like the stand-up call, and then there they just write into the channel, add these tasks for me, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe the founder, if they want to add a task for someone else, they can just tell say it in the channel, and then it will do it for them. So these are the 3 managers that we will create. Now Alfredo, this is just more to show that we can do like how the delegation process works. Now, what is the next step? Well, the next step is to add the rest of the sub agents. So here we have Clara. So Clara is the one who will actually add the tasks to the Airtable or to whatever system you use for this. So it could be Airtable, could be Go High Level, could be like Monday.com, stuff like that. And then we would have Bruno, who does the task overview. So with Alfredo, here we'll have Max, who is the accountant, who is the accountant, and he verifies the invoices. So he verifies if the invoices are complete or incomplete, if they're external, internal, and then based on that, Max will or reply back to Alfredo with the information that he needs, or it will delegate to Emma, who will then create the new invoice. And then at the same time, we have another sub-agent here, which is called Justin. And Justin, what Justin does is, Justin gives an overview. Justin gives an overview of what kind of invoices have been paid, what still needs to be paid, etc. Then we have Lisa, who is a personal assistant manager. So this isn't just more like in addition. And if you do have a huge team, if you're a multinational company, for example, and you have new hires, like I remember when I worked in sales and when I was a new hire, I was receiving information from left and right during 1 week, very intense, where you're just learning a lot, and it's normal, you forget a lot. So instead of having your new employee repeat the same question to your manager or to you or to other employees, which distracts them from what they actually should be doing, and then also, it's just very repetitive. Instead, have them talk to an agent that will be able, which is connected to a knowledge base, which will be able to reply to these frequently asked questions that new hires would normally say. Like, let's say, what does Sarah do in the company? What is the process after we have onboarded this new client? What do I do if this client wants a refund? Like these types of questions. We don't need any more human to reply back. This should all be automated. These are the personal assistant manager. and then Lisa will delegate to Andrew, who provides overview on the systems that the company has. So maybe also have another sub-agent, which is Thomas, and Thomas will gives client information. So yeah, this is like kind of how it would look like. To be honest, I don't think we would have to do anything fancy. Like this gives a pretty good overview. Now what you could do is you could add notes of what each person does. I won't do that. And then for the tools, the tools, like I said, we'll be building this from bottom to top. So the tools will just come naturally when we build them. So let's just start. So what we can do, there's really two ways, is or you can already create all of the AI agents and then we can modify them. That's what I recommend. So then you just already have it done and you don't have to deal with it anymore. So let's just do that. So we'll just do Clara adds tasks, right? Then after that we have Bruno, task overview, and just by the way, you can like change the icon if you want to do that. You can also replace this with an image from your computer. But yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Just going to create first all of the AI agents. Victoria. Task manager, and then after that, who do we have? We can do Alex, the sales manager. Then you have Alfredo, who is the accountant manager. Then you have Max, who is the accountant assistant invoice checker. The reason why I'm putting what Max actually does is because after that we'll have to go into sub-agents and add the sub-agents. So I'll show you that after, how it works. Then you have Emma, who creates the new invoices. And then we have Justin. So Justin will put this. And Justin gives an accountant overview. And then we have, Lisa, who's the personal assistant manager. And then we have Andrew and Thomas. So Thomas, client overview. And then Andrew provides process overview. Okay, now we have to add that each person knows who they're going to delegate to. So what we'll do is we'll first go to the sales manager. Shouldn't be sales manager, should be Slack manager. And then basically here we're going to click on sub agents. And then here, very easy, you will just select, the managers. So Lisa, then after that you have Alfredo, then after that you have Victoria. And yeah, so once you're here, you don't have to do anything. You can put a prompt and stuff, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can also put an approval required, or let agent decide. In this case, we're just going to auto run. We want it to be automatic. We don't want to approve things manually. But yeah, this is always good to know. And then the way that you're actually going to tell Alex what to do is in the core instructions. But we'll do that after. So here you can just save it. And then what you're going to do is you can click on this button and this will open up the sub agent. So here we're in Lisa, and to edit agent, and then here you can add Lisa's sub-agents. So Lisa delegates to Andrew and Thomas, so you can also write here Andrew and then Thomas, right? Remember to save it, and then that's it. Lisa doesn't do anything else. Then after that, Alfredo. So Alfredo delegates to Max and Justin. So a mistake that I see that a couple people do is they would add, Max, Justin, and Emma. But Emma gets delegated from Max, not from Alfredo directly. So here we're just going to put Max and then Justin. So remember to save, and then Max is the only one who delegates to Emma. So same thing here. Okay, great. So once that's done, we can actually see like who is delegated to who. What I would want to see in the future with Relevance AI is that we can actually create folders, and in those folders we can put the AI agents. That would just make it very easy for me to be organized, especially if you work with multiple clients. But yeah, we're not done yet. We still need to do for Victoria. So Victoria delegates to Clara and Bruno. So that's how you would add everyone. And then so once that's done, you already have that done. Now the next step is to, we're gonna work on these ones. So we're gonna focus on these first, and then we'll go from bottom to top. Never go from top to bottom. It's just easier to do it this way. Okay, great. So let's just get straight into it. So what we'll first work on is Clara. So Clara will need a tool. So this is how you would add a new tool. But you need to first create the tool. So what you do is you go back to the main view, you click on tools, and here you click on new tool. And actually here you have two ways, or you can view templates that people have already posted. That can help you. I had to just create it from scratch because no one had ever created what I created. Maybe it's actually here, I don't know, a table. No, it didn't get posted. Okay, so what you're going to do is, for this you'll have it in the template, but just so then you can have an understanding of how to actually build a tool. So you just create a tool like this. And here I'm actually not going to build it right now. I'll build it later on. So we're just going to name this Airtable add task tool, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You can just save it, save this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to first work on the prompt for Clara on how to use the tool instead of before actually creating the tool. So this is how you add a tool, and then remember you always need to click on it. And you need to click on auto run so that it doesn't ask permission before it runs. Then we go in core instructions, and here this is where it gets interesting because I have prompting guides for you which are available in my community. If you just go in the description, click on the link, you can join it, it's free, and then there you'll just see the templates that you need. And basically what this is used for is, you have for the sub agent, so this would be for example for Clara, and then you have for the main manager, which would be for Alex, the Slack manager, who then delegates to someone else. We're going to copy this and we're going to place it into Claude, and then we're going to ask Claude to create a prompt for Clara. Now we could also just write it by ourselves, but this would take a long time. So let's just do this. So we post it. And then after that, we can just use the voice to text on the computer, start listening, and then yeah. Hey Claude, so based on the template that I provided with you, I need to create a prompt. The prompt is for Clara. So Clara adds task to Airtable, and and she will need to first use the Airtable tool and then report back to Victoria, who is the task manager. So yeah, this will just create a generic prompt, just very easy to do. Yeah, okay, so you're just going to copy paste this in here, and then there you can save the changes, and then we'll just have to test it to see if it's correct. Now you can go in tools and you can actually start building the Airtable. So no worries, I actually have like an AI assistant that I use to create these tools. I don't create it by scratch. That would be like very impressive to just know what to do. I mean, now I know what to do. Okay, so now we will actually pass on to creating the Airtable task tool. So when you click on this button, this will open. And then from here, well, we'll need to create it. Before we do this, this is what Airtable is. It's like a CRM. You can use it for a project management tool. You can do a lot of different things. This is not how you would see it. You would actually see it this way. So yeah, so this is how you would actually see it. And I'll help you build all of this. So yeah, so before I'll go into actually creating this whole Airtable, what I'll first do is I'll show you how to, well, I'll explain a little bit how the tools actually work. Of course, you have some proper videos here which explains to you in detail. Me, I really just learned this by actually doing it. I did watch some videos before, but yeah, it's okay. Like, the best is to just do it yourself. That's how you're gonna learn the best way. But essentially how it works, your AI agent is able to send data basically to the tool, and it just sends it automatically. You don't have to write a prompt. You can use a prompt, but I've just seen that it works perfectly fine without actually adding in a prompt. You have the inputs, so this is how the AI agent will actually receive the data that it made and how it will start using the tool. So let's say if you want to send a text, then you should use a text input. If the AI agent will provide like a huge text with a lot of information, like maybe it's create a blog, then you would click on the long text input. If it provides like a JSON code, then you'd click on JSON. You wouldn't put just text input. So this is what the tool looks like when it's built fully. I'll show you exactly how to build it, but just to give you a sense of what we're trying to aim to do. So here we have a text input. So this is where the AI agent, so Clara, who will just add the text that we sent on Slack. So we sent tell Sarah to add automations in the to-do list. So the text will get actually restructured with a structuring tool that we will create after. This will be placed into here. And then from there, actually, we use ChatGPT to format it into client, task, subtask, start date, due date, outcome, owner, and we already put the outcome as pre-filled as to do. Now, you might be wondering, what is this? Why is the text one here? Well, text one comes from this part. So that's how you send this part into the next part. Then after that, well, this will generate a response and it will get saved as text. Now, what you see is, well, you can't just put text, you have to put text.answer. So .answer is always the reply after the LLM generates a response. And here the next step is, well, we need to extract the name. We need to extract the client name from, to which client, for which client is this task for, right? So yeah, we have to extract the client name. So there's like this rule of how you extract it. And then we also have to match the name, because sometimes what's going to happen is the person might not write it correctly on Slack, or you might do a voice message and the voice might not pick it up if you have an accent or whatever. So that's why we have this. This was generated with ChatGPT and it works really well. And then we have rules on how to actually use this prompt. So there you go. Then after that, well, I save it as LLM client. Before that, we extract the owner name. So same thing. And so this is why we actually do this, where we have to format it first, just so that it can easily extract the correct values. Then after that, what we do is we will take the task name. So in Airtable, so if we go to the Airtable, basically we have tasks and then we have subtask. So in the task section, these are all tasks that will always happen for every client. And then we have subtasks. So when we create a new subtask, it automatically creates a task. We have to format the date in the correct way to add it into Airtable. And then again, we format the time. And I just add an extra rule. And then there we do the output. So that's like if the task is to do, in progress, done, etc. And then here we send the API call to the Airtable. So yes, I know there's my API key, no worries. I'll change it later on. But yeah, and then after that, basically, well, to send the actual fields and to actually have it on Airtable, basically you have these fields ID, which are part of the, like these are fields names. So like for the first one is the field of client. So if we go here, that ID relates to client from client view, and I'll show you exactly how you can get these IDs. It's not, you can't just simply see it. And then you basically have to store the answer. So the answer that we got for client, so from here to that field, and that's how you're going to pass the data onto Airtable. So yeah, that just gives you an overview. Now now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to create this. I'm not going to replicate everything. And then after that, I'll also show you a little trick on how you can easily create tools. Because obviously, I didn't come up with this all by myself. I used ChatGPT to help me out for what kind of steps should I use in the tool. So yeah, I'll just show you how to do this. So I'll just easily copy paste, and then yeah, you'll just be able to see directly how to add the different steps. Here you will write input data here, so then the AI agent knows well, to fill it in here. Just input data here. And then what's really important is, well, yeah, if you want to actually have it pre-filled, you would write something and then you would click on set value as default, and then you would save it. And when you click on set value as default, then it will always stay there. I'll show you later on why that's important to use. Then the next step is, well, the LLM. Here we'll just copy paste what we had. So text 1 comes from here. How to do that? Well, you just do double brackets and then you click, and then that's how it appears. Then after that, well, we have that saved as LLM. So here we'll just copy paste this. The reason why this does not work is because this is LLM, has to be text. Then now it works. For you, it will look different, but you get the point. And then here you have LLM1, so that should be LLM client. Then the next one is to do the LLM owner, so this will be able to use to take the owner of the task. So that would be like the team member. So Alessandro, myself, Sarah, Thomas, Ben, whatever. So here we would write LLM owner. Then the next one is we're going to take the tasks. So this is just to remove errors in the task name. So LLM task name. Then here we're going to get the current time. So the way that you do that is you add a step, and then here you can write current time. Here, like I'm in Belgium, I'll just put Europe/Brussels. And then the next part is to put the start date. So here, this is to format the start date. Then after that is we're going to do the due date. Then after that, we're going to do the outcome. And then here we're going to do the API. So this is the interesting part. So for this, we'll actually need to create the Airtable first. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so this is what the Airtable will look like once you create a new one. I'd always recommend you to rename it. So I'll just do YouTube video. Boom. And then here you have the table name, you have stuff, etc. So here, basically, well, if you want to recreate what I created, you're going to name this project management. So this is the name of the table. YouTube video is the name of the base. This is the name of the table, project management. Now we can just keep that like that. And then here we can actually put clients. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create the different fields. So here you're going to see we have client. This will basically be a formula. We won't do it now because we don't need to do it now. But here we'll create another client and we do client from client view. You can put whatever you want. The reason why we have this is because we need it as different options. And then we'll just create, different random names, Gazello, Drive Now, we can put like Tesla, whatever. And then that you can save. And then now we will create this one that never changes. This is like the main one, the main field, and here you're going to click on formula. And what you're going to put in formula is you're going to put in brackets client from client view, save, and then what this will do is basically it will just copy it to this pod. And the reason why we do this is just to make it look nice in the interfaces. That's it. Then the next part that we have is, well, the owner. So this is the task owner, the person who has to complete the task. So we'll just do that, and then we'll also put a single select because the owner will always be the same certain people. What you don't, the reason why you wouldn't want to put like single line text is because you always want Alessandro to be written as Alessandro. You don't want like you always want the names to always be the same, so that's why. So I'll just put my name, Alessandro, then Sarah, then Thomas, and then here I would change the color just to make it look better and more visible for people to see. Then after that we're going to put the tasks. So these are the tasks that always happen within the business. So you can put onboarding clients, you can do like sell, onboarding client, tech setup, and weekly review, whatever, something like that. Then the next part is we're going to do the subtask. The reason why we have subtask is because what happens if the person who wants to add a task is not part of the task list? Because if the person, for example, wants to say yes, ask Sarah to send an email for Xello, and that send email is not in the task list, then it will not work. So that's why we need to create it as a subtask. And then once we create a subtask, we'll add an automation that will automatically create a task when a new subtask is created. Like this is the way that I do it. So that's why I have subtask. And then in the interface view, we can hide subtask and it will just show the tasks. Okay, the next step is the outcome. So this is the outcome of the task. So that will show if the task has been done, if it's in progress, or if it still needs to be done. Then you can also add like in needs review, stuff like that. So here we're going to create the field. Then after that, we'll put the start date. And here we can select this. This you can put just always default to local date. So whenever a new field is created, then that'll automatically put a date. See, like that. So that's useful because it removes an extra step that we need to do. And then here we can put end date, due date, so when the task is actually due, like this. And here you're just going to leave it how it is. And then maybe you can add notes. If someone wants to add notes to it. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Then the next step is to go into interfaces, and you're actually going to create like an interface that will look nice. So here I can just do team project management view. Here you can just do finish, etc. And then yeah, here gets a little bit like, it's not complicated, you just need to know how to do it. So very easy. You have to click on this part. Yeah, so this is very easy. You're going to just select the source. Well, since we don't have any data, nothing is going to show, so we actually have to add something. So let's just do this. To do due date will be the 27th. Can just do like this, just so then we can have some data that we can use. Okay, so once that's done, you go back to interfaces, and here you'll see them. So now, like, this view is great, but it's not really that useful. So if you want to make it even more useful, what you'll do is you would just duplicate. So here, like, we have three, let's say we have three employees, me, Sarah, and Thomas. So what we're going to do is just going to duplicate this 3 more times. Like this, and then we're actually going to allow to have a view for each person. So here I'll put Alessandro, here I'll put Sarah, and then here I'll put Thomas. And then the main one we can do like overall view. And this will show a view on everything. Once that's done, we're going to just publish this, just so that it can be saved, and then we'll just edit it again. So we have the overall view. This is good. We can just make it a little bit nicer like this, and then we can add more fields. So for some reason it hides fields, but yeah, we need all of them. And then if you want to actually manage like the fields in a certain view, so I would do task like this. I'll put the outcome after the owner. And then there you have the start dates, due date, notes, like this. And then we can actually, well, hide the subtask since we don't want to see it. And then there you go. This is how it would look like. Now let's go to the next part. Here, which we're actually going to add a filter. And the filter is when the owner is Alessandro. And so what this will allow you to do is it will allow you to actually just see the tasks that Alessandro needs to complete. Again, here we're going to add all of the filters. We could have done this before and not do more work, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, this is what we're going to do, like that. Boom, that's done. And then we'll do the same for Sarah. We're going to say when the owner is Sarah. Like this, and then here you go to filters, and again, like that. And then we'll do the same for Thomas. So we'll add filter where the owner is Thomas, and then here we'll just make this shorter. Okay, not that short. And then actually what we can also do is we can hide the client. It will look better. But yeah, we can just do this. Boom. And then this just gives you an overview of everything that the people need to do. Okay, so here we'll add a new interface. So in this case, we want also a client project management view. So this is to see the tasks instead of the individual, the owner. We see it as a client. Then what we'll do is we'll actually group it per owner of the task. So then we can see, okay, what does Alessandro need to do? What does Sarah need to do? What does Thomas need to do? So the way that you'll do it is like this, and then you click on owner. Here we clearly shows what each person needs to do. And then if you want, you can do this in the rest. I won't do it just to save time, but yeah, you get the point. You're going to do the same thing, so you'll just add all of the fields like this. And then from here you will group, and you'll group it per client. So like this, and then what we'll do is we'll actually put the owner first, and we can remove these two because we have the client name here, and then we have the owner who is at the top, like that. So here we know, okay, drive now, Sarah, Toma, Alessandro, etc. And then if you want, you can also have it per client. So I'll just show you, it's the same process. So here's kind of like the client's overview, and then here you have drive now, here you have Tesla, here you have Xillo. So these are the client names. And then what you'll do here is you will filter, and you will add that the client is only here you add that the client is only drive now. So here you see all of the tasks just for drive now. Then you do the same for Tesla. And then you do the same for Xillo. So yeah, so now you will see exactly what the tasks per client, and then also the tasks per individual. And then you just click on publish. So yeah, so there you go. This is how it looks like. It looks very clean, very organized. This is what businesses use to stay organized. So yeah. Then the next step, we go back to relevance AI. So how do we actually get like we need the API step here. So we actually need to add a new step, API. And here, well, we're going to send a request, so post. And then here we'll have to put the URL. We'll have to put the API key, etc. So I'll show you exactly how you can get like the different things that we need. So in this case, we can I'll put this in the document for you guys, but yeah, you just copy paste this, and basically you have the base ID, and then you have the table ID. So how do you actually get that? Well, you search Airtable API Web, and then basically when you click on that, you'll see all of your Airtable bases, and you click on the right one. I won't show it, otherwise, yeah, you'll see all my details. But yeah, I clicked on YouTube video one, and then here basically you have the base ID, so that we can copy paste, and then we put this next slash, and then here we're going to find the table. So you'll see on the left, so this is like one table, project management table. Now later on we'll actually have multiple ones, which will show the different tables that we have on Airtable, and then each table has a specific ID. So you do this, so you have the table ID, then the table, you have the base ID, then the table ID, and then next we need the API key. So you're just gonna put authorization here, and then content type here. And then here for authorization, how do you get your API key? Well, very easy. You're going to see a part here which you have to get your personal access token, so you click here. And here you're going to create a new token, so I'll just say YouTube video. And then here you just add scope. I just add everything, just makes it easier. This kind of gives the permission of what you can do with this link, with sending an API request. And then here you're just going to choose your base. So in this case, it's YouTube video base. You're just going to create a token, and this you copy paste into the authorization part. And then for the content type part, we'll just copy paste this application JSON like that. And then before the API key, you'll put bearer. And so what that will allow you to do is connect to your account with the API link. And then, yeah. And then for the body, what we'll do is we'll actually put, we will put JSON object, and this will also be in the document. So you will need this, and we'll just copy paste this. Now here, this will actually be different for everyone. It depends on how many fields you have. In my case, we have these fields. We will just need to change this name. So how to find the field ID is very easy. You go back to the Airtable API web. You go to your table, so project management table, and then here you have different field ID. Now, what's super important is that the output of the LLM respects the possible values and how it's written, depending on if it's a single select. So if it's a single select, the client name should always be written like this. So that's why we added this step here, like how the client should be written. That's why I did that. But yeah, we'll just take this and we'll copy paste it here. So this is the one that we're changing. The owner is this one. The task name, this is, remember, it's not the task, it's the subtask. Oops. Then we have the start date. Then we have due date. And then we have the LLM outcome answer. So that's just this. That's not that important. But yeah, and then that's it, I believe. Huh? Yeah. So now a great way to test it is to actually, well, write something here. So, well, before we have to save, remember to save. Always remember to save. And then here we're just gonna say like add task automation for Zello. So now we actually have to test it. So the way that we do that is you can just type here, which will allow you to test like if the AI agent was using the tool. So here we can just say add task automation for Zello, for we can say like Sarah, well, we'll say for Alessandro, and then here you can actually run the tool, which will run through the different steps based on what we wrote. Okay, so there was a little error. So what I recommend you to do is actually put double points, format this like that, so that it knows that that has to be formatted. And you can just run it to see if it works. So what it should be is like, yeah, this is the right way that it should be. Zello for owner Alessandro. So this will add it now. So yeah, so once you see this, this means that it got created. And then if we actually go to here, we'll see in Alessandro. And if we look at the, so yeah, so if we actually look in the view here, it added a task to Trello. So yeah, so as you could see in the data section here, there's no task that got created when the subtask got created. So what you will do is you will go to automations, and then here you'll select when a record is created. You're gonna, here we'll add a condition, and the condition will be that, well, the subtask is not empty, so is not empty. And then here we'll create a new record, and then here, sorry, and then here we will update a record. Okay, and then in the record ID here, we'll just put the Airtable record ID. So that's just to know that it's that record that we need to update in the same line. And And then for tasks, well, you would just add a dynamic variable, and here you add a subtask. Like this, generate a preview, and then this is how it looked like. Now we would have to do some changes directly within the tool because it's providing like the task is just way too big. And yeah, you just do like trial and error, that's the best thing. And then once you have an accurate reply, then you can go and you move to the next step. Transform this text. There's other ways that we could do this probably, but how I have it set up worked really well. So yeah, so this is what you would want, add automation. And then here we can run the tool again, and what we'll see is it will directly add this. We have to turn on. It will directly add it here. So if we delete this, so as you can see, automation added via Slack. Well, I would also remove the whatever you call them. But yeah, as you can see, it added a task, and then if we go into the interfaces, it added it automatically like this. But yeah, I would add like, need to remove the, like this. Now it's gonna work properly. So yeah, it's just a lot of trial and error with these prompts. So yeah, it should work now. Boom, done. And then now I'll create the task. Done, interfaces. Voila. Looks amazing. Publish, done. Very good. Okay, so now that that's done, now we can move to the next step. So always remember to save. And now we can actually remove this. Always remember to save. Now this is done. What happens next? Well, we go to Clara. And in Clara, we already added the task, so that's great. We can save changes. Co-instructions. This we don't touch. We might have to modify the co-instructions again after, but we just won't touch it for now. What we can do is we can actually finally test the first AI agent from our Figma board. So yeah, so let's just write, it would be like something like add to my to-do list task is automation for Xello, and then normally the owner would already be put from the other AI agent. Owner is Alessandro, and then would also, yeah, that's it. We don't have to say due date or start date because we already have that configured in the tool. Okay, so here again, like we don't want to have this type of input output. So what we'll do is we'll go again to Claude and we'll say input like this, output like this, prompt used this, and then we go to edit agent, and then here we can just here we're just going to copy paste the instructions, then we'll paste it, and then we'll say remove the need to provide what was it, yeah, remove the need to provide these details, like we just want to add a task to a table. No need for priority, due date if not given, should always be the next day, etc. Like now it's just going to provide the instructions. Okay. Okay, so here we have to create a new chat. So yeah, so once you have played around with the prompt, then yeah, it will work. So automation for Xello, owner Alessandro, client name Xello should work now. Shouldn't be a problem. Task has been successfully added. Let's see here, and it was added. Okay, perfect. So this step works now. Now we can go to the next step. So what you could do if you want to stay organized is you can add like a little note saying Airtable add task tool. So then when there is an issue, you can actually see where the issue is. That's what I did in the other one. But yeah, just so then you have an understanding of how all of this works. So in this overview, this is how you can control one AI agent. You will never actually be using this. This is just ready to test it and to create at the beginning. Here you can actually pause tasks, you can mark as complete, you can see the status, you can see when it was created, the amount of credits that the AI agent uses, and then the connected tools and the connected agents. So those are the sub agents. So yeah, let's go to the next. Let's actually go to now Bruno, who does the task overview. So here we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We just need to change one thing, which will actually allow us to read the Airtable tasks instead of add the tasks. So it's just a change in the API code. So yeah, let me just show you how you can do that now. So Bruno will actually have access to two tools. So Bruno will need to have access to a tool to view tasks based on the owner, and then also view tasks based on the client. So why is that needed? Well, because what happens if someone says, please show me the tasks of Alessandro, and then if someone else says, please show me the tasks for Xello, like those are two different things, two different ways that Bruno will have to use the tool. So we'll create two tools for him. So the first tool that we will create is called, we'll just name it view client tasks. Airtable view client tasks, like this. You can put like an emoji. To add Airtable view client tasks, and we also added and then remember to save, and then we also added Airtable view owner tasks. So Airtable owner list tasks, so this is what Bruno uses. Bruno uses this to get the lists of tasks that each owner needs to do. So what do we mean by owner? Owner is Alessandro, Sarah, Thomas, so whatever team member you have in your company. And so what it will do is, here we just have an option field where it says list records, so that the agent knows that this is used to list the records. We actually have base ID, table ID, and we have the owner ID. The base ID and the table ID are not needed, so we can remove that. We'll just directly implement it in the API like we did for the last tool that I just showed you. And then the client ID, this is where the name of the person will go. So Alessandro, Sarah, or Thomas. And then that will be used in the API. I won't show it because this is connected to another Airtable with the API code, so I cannot show it, but I'll show you how to do it after. Then we have the LLM. So here basically what we do is we need to transform the data into a JSON data view. So I'll show you how to do this as well. It's very simple. You just use Claude, but this allows us to basically just have it well formatted, so then we can we'll get the data that we need and then provide it back to the AI agents that will then output the response to us. So I'll just show you how it looks like. So let me just put Alessandro, then we run the tool. So here it goes through the different steps. So yeah, voila. So this is like the output that I would receive, and then the AI agents, so Bruno would format it in a way that is clear, but yeah, this is what we would receive. So all the tasks for Alessandro, what has been done, what is in progress, what needs to still be done, etc. Then the next part, like we said, will be the owner ID. So that would be the name of the person. So this will, for example, be like Alessandro. Then after that, we'll add the API. It will be a post API. And this is how it should look like. Now, us, we only really need this, like this. And then here, we're just going to pre-fill the table ID. So we go back to the web API, and the table ID is this one. Paste it there, and then we have the base ID. Go back to the web API, go all up. Then you have the base ID, and then here, this is where it gets interesting. Here, this we need to change to owner. And so basically what it will do is it will search by formula owner with the owner ID. And then here we'll need to put authorization, and we'll need to put the API key. And then we need to put how we're sending the data. We'll do that after. But yeah. Okay, so this is how the second part should look like. So you should add a condition. I mean, this is not really needed. What is needed is the get method, the URL. You put your base ID. So remember how to find the base ID is you go to the web API of Airtable, and then you have an introduction, the base ID, and then you have the table ID here, and then you create your personal token by going to authentication, personal access token, create it, etc. And then the only part that will change is the owner. So this could be Sarah, Alessandro, Max, whatever. And then we can actually will run the step, and what it'll do is it will provide all of the tasks that Alessandro needs to do. Now the next step is, well, we actually have to format this in a way that can be understood to be sent on Slack. We don't want it like this, right? So that's when the next step comes, and that's why we use a LLM step. And so this is the prompt that I put for that one. I'll just recommend just using the same that I have in the template. If you want to recreate this, I wouldn't recommend changing it. Here we actually give the details. Just need to make sure to change this. And then now we'll have it in a structured way. So yeah, so now you can see like your tasks, Alessandro, done, nothing in progress, nothing to do, automation, onboarding client, and then again automation with the due date, etc. And then what will happen is, well, Bruno, the AI agent, will actually format it in a way that is more clear. But yeah, this is what I did. So then we can go back, and now we can go back to Bruno. And what we need to do with Bruno is we need to give it instructions and access to the tools. So let's add the tools, view client task, view owner task. So we only did the owner task for now. We can actually do the client task now as well. I don't think I saved it. Fine, okay, I saved it, so that's all good. We could actually just duplicate this because it's the same thing. Okay, so what I did is I just duplicated the owner task tool that we made, and I just changed the owner ID to client ID, and then I changed this to client. And then what I did is, well, you go back to the web API, and here you just copy paste the field ID, or you can copy paste this. I just think it's easier to copy paste the field ID, and then basically you input that after the equal sign, and then you equal it to the client, which will be whatever is written here. And then here will show the records, and it will provide you all of the tasks for that client, so Xello, and then it'll format it, etc. Then once that's done, you can save it. Okay, so now that that's all done, we can add the tasks. So here we have view client tasks, and we have view owner tasks. And then remember, we have to provide auto run for both. And then here we can actually start building the prompt for Bruno. So yeah, so my prompt works really well with this, so I'll just leave it as it is. Again, you can use the prompting guides here to do it as you want to, but yeah, for me this works really well. There's an additional thing which is called a query identification rule. The reason why we have this is so that Bruno knows exactly what is different between a client name and an owner name, because yeah, like it's AI, it doesn't really know, because sometimes we have errors where it would say, is Alessandro a client or is he an individual, like an owner? So that's how you would solve it. Now what we have to do is we actually have to test it. Everything should be working well. So now we can actually test Bruno. So what are the tasks for Alessandro? Then here it'll tell me all the tasks. So as you can see, it uses the Airtable view owner tasks. So it recognizes that Alessandro is an owner, not a client. And so it'll take all of the details, owner ID, list records, boom, boom, bam, bam. This takes a little bit of time because yeah, it has to get all of the data, and then it's going through the different LLM approaches. What we can also do in the meantime is just ask what other tasks for Xello. So that's the client. So here replied tasks overview. Overdue is automation. It's overdue from 1 day. This is what is due this week. In progress, done, perfect, works well. Now, same thing here, client. So it recognizes that Xello is a client, not an owner. Very important. Same thing. It will do the same thing here. Client ID, Xello, and it will just provide back everything for Xello. So these are the tasks that have been put for Xello. So that's what we should see. Oops. So yeah, so here we can see, yeah, basically the same stuff. What we could add is that we also want to know like who is the owner of these tasks. So we can actually change that. So yeah, okay, so that works well. Now next, who is next on the board? So Clara done. We can change the color to green. These two are done. Next is Victoria. So this is an important one because Victoria will be the one who will delegate to Clara or to Bruno. Okay, so this is what I had for Victoria. So first we're going to do a verification. So this is the manager, remember, this is not a sub-agent. So when you need to delegate to other sub-agents, it's always good to, well, make sure that the manager, there's a verification that the task that has been delegated to them corresponds with their domain. So that's why verification, first verify if the request belongs to your domain. So this is and then after that we write the domain. So yeah, that's what she is responsible for. So for new task creations, new task progress tracking. So that's to see the tasks from Airtable, task status updates, deadlines, prioritization, etc. If it does not match, then reply back to Alex, and then Alex should redirect to Alfredo or to Lisa, and why. Then delegation rules. This is important. So delegate to Clara when adding new tasks to the system or create task entries, right? And then we always say to use the structure task tool, which I'll show you now what it is. That's so then that the data is correctly put before delegating to Clara. It just makes it easier and less errors. Then delegate to Bruno when the person is requesting status on a task, etc. So that's like to review, to get the list of tasks of what still needs to be done for an owner or for a client. And then we give them some guidelines. So let's go to the tool. So once that's done, we can just save the changes. And then now we'll have to actually create the, what is it called? The structure task tool. So we're gonna do that. So to create the tool, you click on tools, add a new tool, create tool. Here we're going to name it structure tool task, and we'll put a little emoji. Okay, so this is just a very easy one. It's just one step. So it's just all about structuring in a specific way. Okay, so here's the prompt. Basically, I just had to change some stuff. But essentially what this does is it will structure the text that we receive from Slack or that we receive from Alex to just format it in a way where like this is basically how we should have it. Add task owner, Alessandro, client with the client name, task with the task name, due date with the due date. So this is just so then we can send it to Clara, so then there's no issues, there's no errors like we saw in the past where they use Alessandro as the this is just to keep it more organized and reduce errors. So yeah, we can actually test it. So let's say, hey, please add automations in my to-do list for client Xello due tomorrow morning. You see, like when someone writes something, it becomes complicated, so we have to structure it in a way that's very simple, so then the next step can easily do it. So here, easy, add task, owner is Alessandro, client Xello, task add automations, due date tomorrow. And then basically how this will be used is Victoria will then know, okay, it's an add task, right? It's not a give back list of tasks, it's an add task. So it delegates to Clara, and then we have the owner name, the client name, the task, and then the due date. So that's perfect. So then we can save it. Again, all of these prompts will be in the prompt guide. I'll add all of it, and then you can get that in the description. Join my community. It's free to join for now, and then you'll find the resources there. So next step from here is to actually, test Victoria. So let's do that. Let's just make sure that the tool is added. It's not added. Auto run, and then let's make sure that we actually saved what we did. Here we did. Okay, so everything works. So now we just save the changes. And now we can actually test with Victoria. So let's just say like, hey, please add to my to-do list automations for Xello. It is due for tomorrow. And then also provide a list of tasks of Sarah. So here Victoria is supposed to then delegate to Clara and Bruno. She will basically, we'll see what she does. So delegates to Clara to add task. And here it's to add to Alessandro, client Xello, automations due tomorrow. So that'll be done. And then delegate to Bruno to get the list of tasks assigned to Sarah. So what it's supposed to reply back with is it's supposed to add here. So yeah, it added it. It's this one. And then it's supposed to give back that Sarah needs to, has actually finished all of her tasks, and that she had to do it for Drive Now, and that her task was tech setup. So there you go. Perfect. So that's done. Now the next step is okay, great. So now we finished this part. Now we have to go to the next part. So we have to do the accounting part, and then we'll finally finish off with the personal assistant manager part. Now, to be honest with you, the accounting part is probably the hardest part, because yeah, we just need to really like extract a lot of details from the invoices that we receive and stuff. But yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm gonna show you step by step how to do it, and then the Lisa part is just super simple, easy. So yeah, but I'll start with the Alfredo. We'll first start with Emma, then we'll do Max, then we'll do Justin, and then we'll do Alfredo, and then we'll go and we'll do Andrew, Thomas, Lisa, and then finally Alex, and then from there we'll do the Zapier, Make, integration, and then with Slack. So yeah, that's the timeline for the rest of the video. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far, and that is being useful. Again, all the templates, everything, well, you already know where to find it. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Yeah, so Emma, create a new invoice. So this one is very straightforward. Basically, we're going to go back to Relevance AI, and then we're going to click on Emma. So Emma will need to have a tool, which basically using two tools. The first tool is called Invoice Webhook. So what this does is, after we know that the invoice hasn't been done correctly and that we have all of the information that we need to recreate a new invoice, then it will trigger this webhook, which will be triggered on Zapier, and then which will actually create a new invoice with the details that we have. So for the moment, I'll just save it so that we have it. And then the next one is, to extract. Then the next one is called Invoice Fields Extractor. And so what this one does is it will take the fields from the invoice that has been sent on Slack and take the details that it needs. So it will need, for example, the company name, who is sending it. It will need the due date. It will need the price, the description, etc. So that's what this is for. And this, again, we're going to save it. So once the tools, the tools have been created, now we can actually go to Emma, and we can give the tools to Emma. Now, of course, we'll need to edit it, but I like doing it this way, getting the prompt ready, and then working on the tools. So the prompt for Emma is actually very simple. So with the data you received, place it into the Invoice Fields Extractor tool. After that, use the Invoice Webhook tool and report back by saying the outcome. After using the Invoice Fields Extractor tool, use the Invoice Webhook tool. So yeah, you could structure it in a different way, but no need. Like, this works very well. It's very straightforward. So yeah, that's the only thing that I would have. Maybe the first tool that we're going to edit is the Invoice Fields Extractor. So this is how it kind of looks like when it's pre-built. So basically it's going to ask the link. So the link is the link of the invoice that will be uploaded on a server on Amazon, on WAS. And then what we will do is we'll just convert the PDF to text, and then we'll create the LLM that will just basically take all of the details from that invoice. It will just take all of the details that it can find on it, and that will be then used to then recreate a new invoice. So just very simple stuff. This also will be in the document that I have provided. So we'll just put the input, and then here we'll put enter link here, like this. And this we will need to change to file URL so that the agent knows that this is where the file URL has to go. And then after that, well, we need to convert this PDF, so the invoice, into text. So we just add a step, and actually you can find it. It would be here. So convert PDF to text. So this is already made. It's very nice. And so when you see this, basically you just need to click on this select variable, and here when you select the variable, you can just put file URL. It's very easy. Then the next step is the LLM step, and so here, boom, you just paste this like it is, and then we can actually, well, no, we can't test it because we need a URL. But yeah, for this you just save it, and then that's it. And then now we go to the next part. The next one is a little bit more complicated, but that's fine. I'll guide you through it. So for the invoice webhook, this is what it looks like. So basically what we'll do here is, well, the data that we get from the tool that we just created, so that will gather all of the details from the invoice, remember? And then it will place it into here, into a long form text, the quantity. So this is just how many like products or services are they buying. So it should always be one. If it's like a service, yeah, like one automation. Then we have the different LLMs. So this is where it's a little bit long, but for me this works really well because I need to get very specific data, and I need to store it into specific fields. The reason why is because when we send it to the API on Zapier, basically we need all of these fields to recreate a new invoice. So we need the date, the due date, the supplier name, the supplier address, the supplier country, the description of the invoice, the price, the subtotal, the tax rate, tax amount, total price. And then what that will do is it will recreate a invoice, and I'll show you like the tool that we use to recreate the invoice. On Zapier, we will create the invoice using PDF Monkey. So here's like an example. Well, this invoice looks a little bit crazy, but yeah, basically we'll have already pre-filled details. So this is like the details of your company. On the invoice, you need the details of your company and the details of the client who is invoicing you. And then here you'll get the invoice number, the date, the due date, from, description, quantity, price, amount, subtotal, tax, and then total amount. And so these are exactly the same fields that are here. So yeah, so that's basically how it does it. That's how it recreates a new invoice now. So the first step is to have a long text input. Here we write enter details here. And here you can write quantity 1. Remember to set the value as default. Then you can save, and then this we'll just put as quantity like that. Then the next step is just LLM steps. A lot of LLM steps. So yeah, that's how it would be. And then you will just copy paste, or you'll just write however you want to write it. But this would be to get the dates. Next is to get the due date. The reason that I know is with this, with how the variable is called. Due date. Next is we need the supplier name. So the only thing that we'll do is we'll just take the details from what we write here. Then we need the supplier address. Then we need the supplier company, and as you can see, like sometimes I just output the country name, nothing else, because we don't want it to say the country is UK. We want it just to say UK. The reason why is because on the invoice we don't want to have the country is. So that's why I add an extra rule saying just output the country name, nothing else. This is the supplier, so the supplier is the one who is invoicing you. Then we'll have a description of invoice. And then we have the price. Subtotal. Then we have the tax rates. So that's important to calculate the total amount. And here I specify just the number without the percentage, because the percentage will already be put in the invoice. Then next I ask for the tax amounts. And then the total price. And then I do an API call to the Zapier webhook, which I'll show you how it looks like. And then we just add these URL param, and then we add these fields. And then yeah, that's basically it. Nothing too complicated. So that's how you do it. It will be a post because we're sending out data, not receiving data. And then here we can, we will create a new webhook. But the way that you would do it is you do JSON key value, and this will give you two options. And here you're going to put the key, which is the name of the value, and this is where you put the value. So what will be placed onto the invoice. Okay, so now that that's done, you would just write date, due date. So this you can write whatever you want. It's just so that you know what this value is for. Supplier name, supplier address, supplier country, description, price, subtotal, tax rates, tax amount, and then you have the total price. And that's it. So now we will actually have to create it in Zapier. Okay, so here we're in Zapier. What you do to create a webhook, you click on the first trigger, click on webhooks, and then here you're going to catch a hook. Continue, and then it'll give you a webhook. And then what you're going to do with this is you're going to place it in here. And then what we can do is we can do a test to show that it works. Let's just place this, and then we run the tool. And then what that will do is normally we will receive a trigger here with the values that we can then use. So that was a success, test trigger. And then boom, date, due date, supplier name, supplier address, the price, etc. That's it. Now what we'll need to do after is we need to generate a random invoice number. And then we also need to get the company name. So we're going to do that with ChatGPT. And then after that, well, we have to generate the invoice. So here you would just do PDF Monkey. That's what I use. And then generate document. Okay, so next we're going to use PDF Monkey to actually create like the invoice. So I'll put this code as well into the sheet that's available in my community. You can also just easily create new ones by just asking Claude to like change the color to red, or change the font to this font, or generate a new example. But yeah, I pretty much have everything ready and done, related to how we need to input everything. So yeah, we'll need to put like these field names, and then you'll need to link it to what you received back from the webhook. And then what I also have is a ChatGPT step, which will basically just output an ID number, so create a random invoice ID number, and then the next one is to get just to create a title, to name the file in the Google Drive if you want to actually upload it somewhere, and move it to like a different folder, etc. So yeah, so that's what we have so far. This will skip, and then this, well, we can publish, and then we'll be able to test it. So let's do a test. Let's see if it works this way. So here I just put the data. This is what the data would look like. I'll show it after when I can. But yeah, this is what the data would look like when you transform a PDF to text. So yeah, just very simple invoice. As you can see, you have the invoice number, you have the date, the due date, to who it's billing to, from, description, quantity, price, etc. You have everything that an invoice needs. And then you can generate different kinds for different types of clients. So yeah, so that's how that works. So good that works. Now we can just remove this. Now we have to go to the next step. Okay, so now that part's done, we go back to the Figma board, and okay, Emma create a new invoice. That is now done. Now the next step is Max, who will verify the invoice, and here is going to be the very important part, because Max, he'll have the tool which will actually extract the details, the tool to extract details, and then also to verify if it's an internal or external invoice, and if it's a complete or incomplete invoice. So it's a pretty important step. So let's create that now. So we go back to the main page, and then we're gonna go to Max, the accountant assistant checker. Yeah, so this is kind of the instructions that Max will need. So as you can see, like the prompts are kind of they are separated in different parts, and the way that you separate it is with like titles. You can also put, like, for example, asterisks like this. I mean, for the AI, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just like visually, it just makes it look better. But yeah, so you are Max, the invoice checker. Always use the Max, so this tool, which we will create, and this tool will just extract the details from the invoice and then categorize it. And then it says its role, the input sections, file naming. So here just checks that all the invoices are correct, and then yeah, that's it. Like, again, I'll just recommend you to copy paste this and just to use what I made, because it works. Maybe there could be some improvement, but I think this works pretty well. So now we'll go to the tool, and we have to create the tool. We'll just save the changes, and then also, yeah, okay, Emma is already a sub-agent. This is kind of how the tool has been made. So you have again the input where we'll put the file URL, convert the PDF to a text, and then in the LLM here we're just going to add a couple details. So basically we're going to say, well, what is this data about, and what exactly do you need to find? So you need to see if it has my company details in it, and if it does, then categorize it as complete or incomplete. And then also you have to categorize it as external or internal, depending on what it's about. So here, internal type is when you pay a person, or external when you pay for a software or for a service. So yeah, so pretty easy, nothing complicated. This is how you would do it. So you would put a text input here. So here you just put a text input. PDF to text. So convert PDF to text, and then you're going to select this variable, and then here you're going to put file URL, and then after that you're going to add a LLM step, which will basically will analyze the text like we said. Then here I used OpenAI 3.5 16K. So this is just in terms of credits, if you want to use less credits or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then the next step is we need to name it. We put in the instructions, and then here we're just going to save it. And then we're going to add it to the AI agent, so Max. Edit agent, here we add it as a tool, and then you're going to change to auto run like this, save the changes, and then now Max is completely ready to be used. The Figma, this one is in green, and then now we can actually work on Justin. So what does Justin do? Justin will provide an overview of the invoices that have been paid, not paid, etc. But yeah, what Justin does is we'll look at the list of invoices that have been created, and then we'll just provide which invoices have been paid, not paid, etc. So let's go straight to Alfredo. So Alfredo will need to delegate between Max or Justin, so this is a pretty important one. So Alfredo actually doesn't use any tool, so it's actually very easy. This is a prompt, so you are Alfredo, the AI accounting coordinator, responsible for analyzing and routing accounting-related requests received from Alex. Your primary function is to delegate accounting tasks between Max and Justin based on specific criteria. So again, here we have like the titles. You can put the hashtags or not, like that's fine, just makes it more accurate. And then here we give it the core responsibilities. We give when to delegate to Max, when to delegate to Justin, and then how to handle files. So we want that the link is always sent to the next agent, because if you don't put file handling rules, then it will just send a text and it won't send the link, which is useless. So that's done. Now it's okay, Max, Justin, so we can save that. Okay, great. So now that that's done, now we're doing some progress, because now we'll be able to test it. But before we test it, we'll have to create the Alex Slack sales manager. This should be Slack manager, not sales manager. Okay, so this is what the instructions are for Alex. So same thing, these are the titles. When to delegate to Victoria, when to delegate to Alfredo, when to delegate to Lisa, the process. So here you have to be very accurate, because otherwise you don't want it to delegate to the wrong agent. And then what's important is to have this reporting to Alessandro, so to me, to Slack. I'm the person who sent the message. Compile and send all relevant details of completed tasks and outcomes back to Alessandro via Slack communication tool. So that's the tool that he's going to use, which is called the Slack communication tool. And then this is also important for invoice related requests to Alfredo. Always include the complete file URL, because if it doesn't, then we won't be able to see the invoice and categorize it, etc. So yeah, so this looks good. So we just save the changes, and then now we need to create a new tool, which is the Slack communication tool. So the Slack communication tool is used to send the message to Slack from Relevance AI. So this is how the tool looks like. So we have an input. So this is where the message goes. So the message from the AI agent that generated a response that goes back to Alex. After that, we have just an API which sends to our Zapier webhook. I cannot show it, otherwise I don't want people spamming my webhooks. But yeah, that's how it looks like. And then you just put API. We put it to post because we're sending details, text. So what message is being sent? Here we'll put the Zapier webhook. We'll actually create the API to send to the Slack. And then here we just need to paste this there. And then from there we can just save this. and then we can do a test. Hello test. Normally it's supposed to come here. Hello test. Come here now. Yeah, hey test. Done. Okay, perfect. So now that that's done, we need to equip it to Alex. So let's do that now. Here I added the Slack communication tool. Click on auto run, save changes. So now Alex has the tool that he needs. Yeah, I hope that you guys are liking this video. If it is helping you, then please put a like, subscribe. It will help me out. Yeah, if you want to. I'm just really doing this to help other people learn how to build it, because I had issues with building this. Took me a lot of time to learn it at the beginning, but actually it's just very simple. But yeah, so now that we did the Alex Slack manager, now we can actually go straight to the Zapier and make.com. So this is like the part that is I guess the most difficult part of this whole video. It's not that difficult, but yeah, you need to know what you're doing. So yeah, I'll show that next. So now we'll talk about the most important part, which will actually trigger the whole automation. So the first step is always on Zapier. So whenever there's a new message that's posted in the Slack channel, so Max personal assistant, so whenever I would type in it, basically that would trigger the Zapier automation. So a new message gets posted into Max personal assistant, and then I'll split it into 3 parts. The reason why we have the 3 different parts is, well, because if it's in writing, it has to be different than voice, and it has to be different than a PDF. Otherwise, it won't work. So yeah, so we just have conditions, and I'll show you exactly how to build it. It's not difficult at all. And then we trigger the webhook, which I won't show you. Otherwise, you'll be able to spam my make.com account, which I don't want. But yeah, very simple, very easy. And then we have the same thing on make. So this is what it looks like. So here this is the main webhook, and then we have a router, which also is the same thing as paths on Zapier. So we have different kinds of filters. So for example, this one is from a text, so it would just generate, basically I have a ChatGPT step here, which basically, yeah, so basically I have a ChatGPT step here. What it does is it just checks, it just links the Slack ID to a person. So for example, my Slack ID is in there, and then it just links it to my name, so then we know who is sending the message, and then it goes to Relevance AI and sends it to the AI agent, to the Slack manager. And then here we have, this is needed basically to, whenever someone sends a voice message, we need to first download a file with Slack, and then we need to get the transcript, and then we send it to the AI agent. And then same here, here it's a little bit more complicated. So when we send a PDF on Slack, basically we need to upload it to AWS, which will create like not a permanent link, but a link that will like just a link online of the PDF that will then be sent to Relevance AI that can be used to view it. Now this is the only way that I was successful in doing this. There might be a different way, but yeah, this is how I found the easiest way. So I will actually build all of this right now, step by step. But of course, you can just get the template. I'm just showing how to build it step by step so that people know. Yeah, so then you can learn exactly how to build it. No point in giving you a template if you don't know how to actually use it. But yeah, and then what this will do is it will trigger the AI agent in Relevance AI. So it always triggers Alex first, and then it will trigger the sub agents, the tools, etc. And then once there's an output, then it will reply back to Slack, which is a separate Zapier, which I showed before. So yeah, so that's it. So let's get into building this. Okay, so here we have a brand new Zapier flow. So what you do, the first step is to select Slack. Here you click on Slack, and then you're going to trigger the event of, so you have 2 types of channels. You have a private channel and a public channel. Me, it's a public channel. So whenever there's a new public not anywhere. So whenever there is a new message posted to a channel, then it'll trigger the event. And before I actually start all of this, like the reason why I use Zapier and Make is because, well, actually you don't have the download file element in Zapier. I know that you can recreate it, but that's why, just so that it's easier for me, I send data to Zapier. And then same thing, like Make, they don't have the instant immediately as data arrives for Slack. Whenever you want to, whenever a new Slack message comes into a Slack channel, it doesn't start straight away. So what's the point of that? So that's why I use Zapier and Make.com. And I really think, like, if you want to be successful in this space of building automations and using AI, becoming an expert in all of these different tools is the way to go. And that will really differentiate yourself from like people who just want to build like simple automations to people who actually build systems and implement it within businesses. So that's why. Okay, so we select the account. So yeah, I just need to configure it, choose your channel. So me, it's just this one. You don't want to trigger for bot messages and you don't want to optimize data. You can just leave it like that. Okay, then the next is to have paths. So, and here we need 3 paths. One is for voice, so voice. The other one is for text. And the last one is for invoice. So for the voice one, basically it's going to work. In the voice one, well, you see how there's a .pdf at the end. So this means that it's a PDF that was sent. So that's for the invoice. But for the voice, it would be for the voice, it would contain M4A at the end. So what you do is you put text and then you put contains M4A. So if the text contains M4A, then it will go to the voice. And then here it will just trigger a post webhook. So here you put the URL of the make.com, and then in the data you would put, like, I don't know, voice, and then here you would place, so this is the interesting one. So you would put, like, I don't know, yeah, you can put voice, and then after that you can put user ID, because it will use the user ID to know who has sent this message. Put the private file download. So it's this one, I believe. No, it's this one. And then in the user ID, you just put the user ID, which is this. And then based on the user ID, then make.com will know exactly, with the ChatGPT step, will know who has sent this message. So that is important so that Alex knows who he should refer to when he got a reply from one of the sub-agents, if that makes sense. Anyways, it's not that important. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll do the same for text. So just this, M4A, and also PDF, so then it doesn't trigger when we send a PDF. And then here as well, we would send the webhook. Here you would put the URL of the make.com webhook, and then here you can put text, user ID, done, like this. So that's how it would be for the text one. And then here you put like file, and then it's private download, and then here it's user ID. Yeah, and then that's it. Again, template will be in the description, and you again, template will be in my community, free community, so you can get the template very easy. You just download it and then you upload it and it's done. I'll also make a video on how to well, download templates and use the templates. So yeah, that will come out soon. But here I'll just put YouTube test. So we always start with a webhook. The reason why is because we can have an instant trigger, which is super important. Don't use a mail webhook, use a normal webhook. And then here we're just gonna add a new one. And so this link is what you will put into the Zapier here. So I'll just put it here, like that. Boom, and then you save it, etc. Then the next part is, well, we're going to do router. And here we need 3, not 2. So there'll be one that's for the PDF, one for the text, and one for the voice. So you first do for the text. So here we'll just put ChatGPT. I mean, to be honest, you don't really need to do this. Like, you don't need to do the ChatGPT step. That's okay. But you do need the relevance. So we'll just message an agent. And here you'll select your agent name. So me, it was Slack manager. And then here you're going to just add the text. So I'll trigger it. Just so that you can see what it looks like. So yeah, well, this is for the PDF, but basically you just put the text here, and then it'll work. What you will also need to do is you'll need to add filters. So for example, you would want that when the audio does not exist, for this to operate, to go to this part because it's a text. You don't want it when it's a text. And then yeah, okay. So now let's go to the next part for the voice. So here you would put Slack, and you would have to download first the voice file. So you would select this, and then after that you will do ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT has the easy thing to just create a transcript. So transcribes an audio to text. And then after that, you would just put relevance AI, message an agent, and then the same thing, like you would just put the ChatGPT transcript from what it said in the user message. And then you would also put the filter. So remember to put the filter, and the filter condition here would be, well, that audio exists, like this, like that. And then in here you will put the URL. So this one, and then this would just be like that, and then boom, done. Then the next part is when someone sends the invoice. So here you have Slack, you will have it download the file, and then after that you will have, well, the AWS. This is a little bit more complicated. This is a little bit more complicated, but again, you'll have the template, so no worries with that. So the first thing is that you will want to upload the file. Whoops. And then once you uploaded the file to AWS, then you will want to get the file, so find it. And then after that, you will want to message Relevance AI. With the file, you will have a file URL, and then yeah, that's basically it. Great, so this is the end of the video. I hope that it was useful for you. Again, all the templates will be available in the community. Feel free to book in a call with me if you need help to set this up. It is a big process, so I do understand that it's pretty confusing. But yeah, bye bye everyone. Thank you for watching.